floor prep is now done, so what I'm going to do is mark out, measure up and cut the batons for the floor. So I'm just cutting the batons for the floor. So I've got some 15mm ply, and what I've done is I've just labelled this one, so number 1. I've gone through and measured the whole van, and then I've labelled this one up number 1. So number 1 starting at the back of the van, and I have to excuse the lighting rig, it's a bit dark outside, pulling the night shift. But no, so the first one is going to run to here, run along here, stop there. The reason for this is basically because the van curves in, and these are actually lower, so it won't stick, it will rock if it's stuck on them. And basically these sections are never going to be seen, they're never going to be walked on, so it doesn't really matter. So I was more conscious about having the floor supported at the entrance, because this is going to be a nice straight walkway, which you'll see in the design anyway. Number 2 runs along, and then what we've done is just gone through and cut the ply so we can support the floor all the way through the van. So on this bit here, basically what I've realised is that the step doesn't really need to be that wide, and on my design I thought, when I was planning the kitchen layout and the size of the hob and stuff and the amount of usable sort of workspace, I wanted it to be a bit longer. So basically what I'm going to do is, you can see this baton's a bit longer, so what I'm going to do is just build out the floor to slightly encroach on the step, and I'll have a post up here which will support that, just to give me a bit more floor space, which will allow me to make the kitchen unit a bit bigger and a bit more worktop space on top of that. With these batons, we've got one here, and the next one's going to be here. So where the ribs sort of disappear, there's going to be no support for the floor, and it's not really essential because this bit will be covered by the kitchen unit. But what I've done is just cut a couple of patches like that, which will sit in there, which will just offer a bit more support to the floor for when the floor goes down. So we can pack that up to make it level with these, and then that will just support the edges of the floor. So I'll do the same on that side as well, just mark that out, and then the floor should be nice and sturdy everywhere. The batons are now cut for the floor, so what I'm going to do is glue them down with adhesive, and then lay some ply sheets over them and weight the ply sheets so it can cure overnight. Batons are all glued down now. I've just placed the ply I had ready for the floor. I've just placed it on top, and then weighted it down with a load of random bits out the garage, so that will dry overnight now, and it should be good. out underneath, and I've got 4 individual sheets. So what I've done is put a batten across underneath and screwed all 4 sheets down to it just to hold them all square once I mark out. And then I've laid the new ply floor on top. So what I'm going to do is just draw around it, and then that will be marked out ready to cut. So where the step is, so this bit here is the original step, but obviously in the van where you've seen I'm extending the floor out slightly, so I've measured that up and I'll mark that out. So I'm just got to remember to not cut down this line because that's the original step and I'm making the step a lot smaller. So what we're going to do now is just go around with a pen, mark out, and then it'll be ready to cut. So I mentioned before that I'm going to bring the step in, and what I want to do is I want to sort of keep this angle, this profile. So the new step is going to end here. So what I want to do, so I've measured these, and that's 110mm, and that's 110mm. So these base angles have to be the same, so they'll just be 45 degrees, because that's the right angle, and there's 180 degrees in a triangle. So what I'm going to do is mark 45 degrees down here, and then that will give me that will replicate this profile, but on the new step. Got the floor all marked out now. I've just written a little note, so back left passenger side, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. So that's just to avoid confusion later on. Step marked out, and then the same there. If you can see it without the shadow, front right driver's side, sheet 4, sheet 3, sheet 2, sheet 1. So that's all ready to be cut now. Such beautiful weather. Lunch break. I'm just looking at cutting the last ply panel, and basically the old ply floor, it came straight off here and ran down, but obviously I want the new one to follow this curve in and go down there. So I just got a bit of card that I had lying around. This was the only bit I had, so that goes in there, and then that, you can see, follows the contour right up against there, doing that. So I'll use this template on the new ply. So I've got the wheel arch marked out there, so that's the wheel arch, that goes on there like that, and then marked out, creating my own shadow here, marked out along there and along there. Then I'll continue that line all the way up, and then that should be okay. I'm just measuring the distance now. I've got about 1135 there. I've got the tape measure on 1145 on that line there, and then I've just put a little mark, you can't really see it, put a little mark at 10mm, so I know that's a 1135, that length there, and then I'll join this up. So this is the contour, join that up with that little line, and then we should be good. Just cut all the floor and then just offered it up to the van, and it all fits very nicely, so I'm very impressed with that. Very happy with that turned out. Got that extra bit in there, as I templated for earlier. All the sheets line up well. Yeah, all good.
Good. Extended the step out as well.
Woo! Woohoo!
Should be good.
Done. So just marked onto the floor where the battens are, just so we can see where to screw down, so that will help us out in the future. Where I've extended the step out, I got a little bit of a post overhanging, so what I've done is cut another template and basically going to bond another post and screw another post there, and then this is a template for another bit of ply, so that will just be screwed down into there, and then it will just sit there and tidy up that edge. You're not actually going to see it, like I said, a lot of this won't be seen because of the kitchen unit's going to be over it, but it's just feel like my peace of mind really, and it will just look a lot nicer. So that's what we're going to do next. I got the extra post in there, cut the bit of ply, that'll press down. When that'll screw down, that'll be flush, and then I just put the ply on with a bit of adhesive, and then a screw through there, just put a little angle on it to tidy the edge up. So as you can see, that's given a lot more usable floor space. This step was just unnecessarily big, to be honest. So now that's on there, you can see how much the original step comes here. So you can see that's a lot more usable floor space, especially in a smaller van like this. It makes a big difference having that extra bit there, and that's plenty step to get through. Now the ply floor's all cut and ready to go, I'm going to remove it and then cut the insulation, lay the insulation, get that all down. So that's going to be the next stage, is insulating the floor.